Alright, today we're going to go over the study guide for expressions and equations. The top actually says algebraic expressions, distributive properties, solving equations. It's the purple packet. Now, for numbers 1 through 6, you have to remember PEMDAS. You're going to follow the order of operations. Remember, when it says evaluate, you start at the top, you start at parentheses, then you do exponents, then multiplication and division, then addition, subtraction. When I see the word evaluate in the directions, that tells me that I should have a number answer. So if you end up with letters in numbers 1 through 6, alright, you know you're making a mistake. So no letters as your answer. You should have just a number. That's it. Alright. Number 1, we have 24 divided by 3 minus 2 times 3. So if you're lost, the first thing you should do is write out PEMDAS. I don't see any parentheses. I don't see any exponents. I see multiplication. I see minus 2 times 3. That's minus 6, right? Or just 2 times 3 and the minus is still there. Now, I got rid of the multiplication. Now I see division, 24 divided by 3. So I do that, 24 divided by 3 is 8. I'm left with the minus 6. There is no addition. That's subtraction. 8 minus 6 is 2. And that's your final answer for 1. Alright, number 2, we have 5 plus 2 squared. So PEMDAS again. If you're lost, if you have no idea what to do, put PEMDAS down. You're guaranteed to get half point. No, start at the top because it says evaluate. There's no parentheses. There's an exponent, so I have to do 2 squared first. So I do 5. 2 squared is 4. There's no multiplication. There's no division. Oh, now there's addition. 5 plus 4 is 9. And that's it. Alright, number 3, you could use the distributive property, but I'm just going to use PEMDAS. I see the parentheses, so I do 3 plus 9 first. That's why I have 4 times 12. There's no exponent. That's multiplication. 4 times 12 is 48. I'm done. Pretty simple. Alright, so 4, I saw a lot of mistakes in class. PEMDAS, right? I cannot distribute because of exponent. So because of that little 2, I can't distribute. You're not allowed. I have to do inside the parentheses first. So I have to do 1 plus 3 first. So I have 36 minus 2 times 4 squared. Alright, I did the parentheses. Now I have to do the exponent. I have to do 4 squared. So I get 36 minus 2 times 16. I saw a lot of people do 36 minus 2. They forgot that 2 next to parentheses means multiplication. So you have to do the multiplication first. You have to do this 2 times 16. So you get 36 minus 32. There is no division. Oh, no addition, sorry. Subtraction. 36 minus 32 is 4. And that's it. Alright, number 5. Once again, you're going to do PEMDAS. But remember, do the top and bottom separately. And then just put it over each other at the end. So I'm just going to do the top. 40 minus 2 cubed. Like it's its own problem. So on the top, I have 40 minus 2 cubed. There is a parentheses. There's an exponent. So I have to do the exponent first. So it turns into 40 minus 8. I do the subtraction, which is 32. Alright, that's the top. Now I have to do the bottom. So I have 4 plus 3 times 2 squared. Alright, inside the parentheses is 2 squared, and that's an exponent. So I do 2 times 2, which is 4. So I get 4 plus 3 times 4. Alright, there's no more exponents. I have to do the multiplication. I have to do 3 times 4 first. That's 4 plus 12, and that's 16. So I put 32 over 16. 32 over 16 is just 2. And that's your final answer. Alright, 6, the exact same concept. Do the top by itself, then the bottom by itself, then do the top over the bottom. So I do my PEMDAS. I'm just focusing on the top. So I have 40 plus 2 cubed. I have to do the exponent first. So I get 40 plus 8, so the top becomes 48. Right? The bottom, it's 4 minus 3, 2 squared. I have to do the exponent first, so it's 4 minus 3 times 4. I have to do the multiplication, so I get 4 minus 12, which is negative 8. So it's 48 over negative 8, which if you didn't know, that's just negative 6. And that's it for 6. Alright, so 6 through 10 is talking about the pizza delivery guy. You're going to distribute. If the A is outside of parentheses, it goes to B and C. Turns in A plus B, A times B plus A times C. Or maybe I give you the answer, and you have to tell me who was the pizza delivery guy. It's whoever shows up in both spots. So A was the pizza delivery guy, or it's called factoring out the common term. So A would go outside the parentheses, and then B plus C go inside. Alright, that's all we're going to do for 6 through 10. I meant 7 through 10, so that's number 7. It's 6 times the quantity, x minus 3. 6 is the pizza delivery guy. He drops off pizza at X's house and negative 3 house, so I get 6x minus 18. Done. Remember, you cannot solve this because the directions say simplify. And simplify means that you're going to have some algebraic expression as your answer, letters and numbers together. There's no equal sign. There's no way you could ever solve this. The quantity x plus y times n. If you don't like that, you could write it n times the quantity x plus y, but I'm not going to write it that way, but you could. But really, it's just n's a pizza delivery guy, so you end up with nx plus ny, and you're done. Alright, number 9 is 4x minus 4 times 7. You might see somebody, and more than likely after this lesson, you'll see it like this. You'll see 4x minus 28, and you would have to realize in your head that that 28 is 4 times 7, and 4 was the pizza delivery guy. But in this, and I'm just trying to give it to you a little bit easier to see. It's much easier to see. So 4 was the pizza delivery guy. Once 4 is gone, you're left with x minus 7. So x minus 7. Don't worry about that dot there. It's just there to tell 4 times 7. It doesn't go inside the parentheses. So that's your final answer for 9. Alright, number 10. Who was the pizza delivery guy? Well, n is the only one that shows up on both sides, so n goes outside the parentheses. Once n's gone, I have an m and a minus 3, so I put m minus 3. Done. That's it. Remember, you can always check your work on these. If I redistribute it, it gives me my original problem, so I'm good to go. Alright, so for 11 through 14, you have to make the parentheses go away. So step 1, make all the parentheses go away. Alright? If there's nothing in front of the parentheses or a plus sign, you keep all the signs the same. If there's a minus in front, you change all the signs. And then remember your like terms. Letters go with letters, numbers with numbers. They have to be the exact same letter with the exact same variable. Okay? Alright, so I'm going to make the parentheses go away first. I look at this set of parentheses. There's nothing in front of it. So none of the signs change. It just turns into 7d plus 1. I look in front of this set of parentheses. There's a negative sign, which means I change both signs. I had a positive 1. I make it negative 1. I have a negative d. I make it positive d. Now I combine my like terms. 7d and d is 8d. Cross them off so I don't use them again. I have 1 and negative 1. They cancel each other out, so your final answer is just 8d. And that's it. Alright, 12, exact same concept. I look in front of the first set of parentheses. There's nothing there, so the signs stay exactly the same. I look in front of the second set of parentheses. It's a negative sign. So I change both of them. So it was a positive 5a, now it's negative 5a. It was a negative 5, now it's positive 5. A's go with A's. If I have 2 A's and I take away 5 A's, I have minus 3 A's. Gone. If I have negative 1 and I add 5, I have positive 4. Alright, that's it. Final answer. 13, exact same concept, we just have 3 sets. So I look in front of the first parenthesis. Nothing there, so nothing changes. I look in front of the second set. Negative sign, which means I change both of it. I have a positive 4, so that's why it's negative 4x. I have a negative 5, which makes a positive 5. If there's a plus sign, it's just like there's nothing there. I keep 6x minus 7 the same, so it's plus 6x minus 7. 2x minus 4x is negative 2x, plus another 6x is positive 4x. X's are taken care of. 3 and 5 is 8. 8 minus 7 is 1. So I have 8 minus 7 is 1, so 4x plus 1. Alright. Alright, 14, do the exact same thing to make all the parentheses go away. Alright, combine my like terms. I have 4y minus 8y, that's negative 8y. Take away another y, that's minus 5y. Cross off my y's. I have 9 minus 1, that's 8. 8 minus 7 is 1. So I have negative 5y plus 1. That's it. Alright, 15 through 18. It says evaluate, so I already know it's going to be a number answer. Alright, it's not solving, so you can't have no letters should be in your answer. Alright, plug and chug. Step 1. So this is the plug and chug. Step 1, I'm going to write empty parentheses for every variable. Step 2, I'm going to follow order of operations. I'm going to follow the order of operations. So it's going to look a lot like 1 through 6. Alright? Alright, so 15, I have 3x squared minus 7y squared. Remember, it's the whole quantity 3x squared. That's in parentheses. That's important. If x is 3 and y is 2. So step 1, I'm going to rewrite everything wherever I see a letter, I'm going to put empty set of parentheses. Boom, empty set of parentheses instead of x. I still put everything else exactly the same. Now this is going to be really important in 16. Sometimes you'll get away with it, like in number 15 you might get away with it. Now, wherever I see an x, I put 3, so I put 3 right there. Wherever I see a y, I put 2. Now I'm just going to do order of operations. So step 2 says you're going to follow PEMDAS. So I look inside the parentheses, right? I have to do 3 times 3 first. That's why I have 9 squared minus 7 times 2 squared. Now, a lot of people made this mistake where they did minus 7 times 2. You have to do exponents first. So I have to do 9 squared, I have to do 2 squared. So I get 81 minus 7 times 2 squared is 4. Now, I can't do 81 minus 7 yet. I have to do the multiplication. 7 times 4, so I have 81 minus 28. Therefore, your final answer is 53. And that's it. So, same exact problem, except this time x is negative 3, y is negative 2. So I'm going to write it exactly the same. Step 1 says 3, blank space, or empty set of parentheses, and squared minus 7, blank space, squared. Now, I put a negative 3 inside the parentheses. I put a negative 2 inside the parentheses. It's super important that these are inside parentheses, because remember, negative 3 squared, or we'll say negative 2 squared without parentheses is negative 1 times 4, which is negative 4. Negative 2 squared inside the parentheses is negative 2 times negative 2, which is positive 4. So that's super important. Now, I do the same thing. I follow my PEMDAS. I do inside the parentheses. That's why I have negative 9 squared. Notice it's inside parentheses. Minus 7 times negative 2 squared. I have to do the exponents. And because they're in parentheses, they're both positive. So I have 81 minus 7 times positive 4. Not negative 4, positive 4. Now I have to do multiplication. So I have to do 81 minus 28. And look at that. We get 53 again. Same answer. Alright, 17. We have 4y minus x over 3 times the quantity 2x plus y, where x equals negative 3 and y equals positive 3. Now remember, you're going to do the top by itself, and then do the bottom by itself, and then just put the top over the bottom. So I'm just gonna focus on the top. I'm gonna do 4. So this is the top. 4 blank space minus blank space. So x is negative 3, y is 3. Oh, it's 4y minus x. Yeah, I almost made a mistake there. So it's 4 times 3 minus negative 3. 4 times 3 is 12. Minus and minus is plus, so it's plus 3. So my top is just, that's my top. 15 is my top. Positive 15. Now I'm going to do the bottom. So the bottom, I do 3 times the quantity, 2 blank space, plus blank space, and I close the parentheses. X is negative 3. Y is 3. So I do inside the parentheses. I have to do the multiplication first. So I have 3. 2 times negative 3 is negative 6, plus 3. So it's 3 times negative 3, which is negative 9. That's my bottom. All right. 15 over negative 9 simplifies to negative 5. That's a 3, negative 5/3. All right, and that's it. All right, 18. I have 4. It's the same exact problem. 4y minus x all over 3 times the quantity 2x plus y. This time x is 3 and y is negative 3. So I just switched them. All right. Now, remember, you do the top first, all by itself. Do the bottom by itself. Then you put the top over the bottom. And then see what happens. So I do 4y minus x. So I do 4, empty set of parentheses. Remember step 1, write it with the empty set of parentheses. Minus empty set of parentheses. X is 3. Y is negative 3. So I have 12 negative minus 3. So my top becomes negative 15. Okay. Bottom. The bottom I have 3 blank parentheses, 2 times empty set of parentheses instead of x, plus empty set of parentheses instead of y, close the parentheses. I put 3 here, I put negative 3 there. All right, 3 times I have in there 6 plus negative 3, so it becomes 3 times 3, which is positive 9. And once again, this simplifies to negative 5/3. So I got, even though I got the same answer, the top and bottoms were opposite signs if we looked at it more closely. Okay, that's it for 18. All right, so 1925, it has that word solve, which means you're going to have a letter equals a number at the end. That's when you're going to do solving. Okay, more than likely, you're going to be doing PEMDAS backwards. And remember, you start at the bottom. You start at the bottom and work your way up. Now remember, all this only works if there's one variable. So if there's more than one, you always distribute first. Combine like terms. Put all the x's, all variables, on one side. Okay? Alright, I have 4x minus 7 equals 29. Remember, we're going to do PEMDAS backwards. There's one variable already, so I don't have to worry about anything else. I see subtraction, that's why I add 7 to both sides. Because remember, addition and subtraction undo each other, multiplication and division undo each other. That's really all we're going to care about in this section. So I get 4x equals 36. No more subtraction, there's no addition, there's no division. Oh look, there's multiplication. How do I get rid of multiplication? By division. That's why I divide both sides by 4. I get x equals 9. Now if you want to check your work, plug it in. 4 times 9 is 36. 36 minus 7 is 29. True statement. Good to go. Alright, same concept. PEMDAS backwards, right? Remember, addition, subtraction undo each other, multiplication, division undo each other. We start at the bottom, work our way up. There's no subtraction, there's addition. That's why I subtract 29 from both sides. I get 7s equals minus 49. Alright, no more addition, no division. Oh, there's multiplication. That's why I divide both sides. I get s equals negative 7. Now you just check your work if you're not sure. 7 times negative 7 is negative 49. Plus 29 is negative 20. So it does work. Alright, 21, exact same concept. I do PEMDAS in reverse. So There is no subtraction. Oh, there's addition. That's why I subtract 9 from both sides first. I get 15n equals 12. There's no division. Oh, look, there's multiplication. I divide by 15, divide by 15. I would grudgingly accept 0.8, but remember 12 over 15, they both go into 3, or 3 goes into both of them, so I end up with 4/5. And you can check your work and you'll get the right answer. Alright, so I have to distribute first. So I have to take the negative 2 to everything, the 2 to everything. I end up with minus 2x minus 12 equals 2x minus 8. Now I have to move the x, I move all the variables, all the x's to one side. So I'm going to pick the smaller of the two. So negative 2x is a little bit smaller, so I'm going to add 2x to both sides. You don't have to. You can move the positive 1 over if you really wanted to. So I get minus 12 equals 4x minus 8. Now that I'm down to one variable, I just do PEMDAS in reverse. There's subtraction. That's why I add 8 to both sides. I get negative 4 equals 4x. Now I have to, there is no addition. There is no division. I have multiplication. That's why I divide by 4, divide by 4. I get x equals negative 1. Final answer. Okay. Alright, so 23 is a little bit longer. I have 4 times the quantity minus 3x plus 1 equals negative 10 times the quantity x minus 4, all minus 14x. Now remember, you have to distribute first. So I have to take the 4, I have to distribute the negative 10. 4 times negative 3 is minus 12x. 4 times 1 is plus 4. Equal sign. Negative 10 times x is minus 10x. Negative 10 times negative 4 is plus 40 minus 14x. Now I have to combine x's on the right. Negative 10x minus 14x. You cannot, not allowed, to add 14x here and here. That is not combining like terms. That's adding 28x to one side and nothing to the other side. I saw that a bunch yesterday. So don't do that. Alright? So what you're going to have to do is just combine negative 10. If you owe me $10 and then you borrow 14 more, you owe me $24. That's why it's negative 24x plus 40. And the left side stays the same. Alright? Now once I combine the x's on the right, I'm going to move all x's over. So negative 24 is smaller than negative 12, so I'm going to add 24x to both sides. You could add a 12 to both sides. It doesn't really matter. So I get 12x plus 4 equals 40. Now it's just PEMDAS in reverse. There's no subtraction. Oh, there's addition. That's why minus 4 from both sides. I get 12x equals 36. 12x equals 36. I divide both sides by 12. I get x equals 3. Now remember, you can check your work. Alright, if you plug it in, it is going to work. Alright, so 23 is x equals 3. Alright, 24, same thing. You have to distribute first. I get minus x minus 2 minus 2x equals negative 2x plus 1. Alright, combine my like terms. I get minus 3x minus 2 equals minus 2x plus 1. I'm going to add 3x to both sides because I need to put all my x's on one side, and negative 3 is smaller than negative 2. I get negative 2 equals x plus 1. Now I have to subtract 1 from both sides. I get x equals negative 3. That's your final answer. Okay? If you get confused, check number 23. It's a lot slower. 24, you have to distribute first. So I get negative 4, or I get negative 12 plus negative 4x, or you can put minus 4x, plus 5 equals 4x plus 12. Alright? I'm going to combine negative 12 and 5 to get negative 4x minus 7 equals 4x plus 12. I'm going to add 4x to both sides because the negative 4x is smaller than positive 4x. I get minus 7 equals 8x plus 12. I subtract 12 from both sides because I'm doing PEMDAS in reverse. I get 8x equals negative 19. Divide everything by 8. I get x equals negative 19 over 8. I prefer that to negative 2.375, but I would accept negative 2.375. Alright, 26 is 5x minus y equals 10. Remember part A, we're solving for y. So I have 5x minus y equals 10. I don't care about the x, so I get rid of it. That's why I subtract 5x from both sides. They are not like terms, so I get minus y equals 5x. I'm sorry, 10 minus 5x. Now remember, that negative is like negative 1 in front, so I have to divide everything by negative 1, and that just changes all the signs. So I had a negative y, so it's positive y. Had a positive y, so it's negative 10. Had a negative 5x, so now it's positive 5x. Done. Y is by itself. B, I'm getting x by itself. So I have 5x minus y equals 10. Now I don't care about the y, so I add it to both sides because I only care about the x. I get 5x equals 10 plus y. I divide everything by 5. I get x equals 2 plus y over 5. And you're done. Alright, so I have x plus 4y equals negative 8. In part A, I'm solving for y. So I only care about the y, so I get rid of x to start. You're allowed to do that because you don't care about x. It's not one of your variables you care about. There's only one variable you care about, so you use PEMDAS backwards. So I have minus x minus 8. Now I'm going to divide everything by 4. You could use one big division bar if you want. I just like to use little ones. I get minus x over 4. Minus 8 over 4 is just minus 2. Y is by itself. Now I'm going to solve for x. It's actually really easy. I have x plus 4y equals negative 8. Once I get rid of the y, because I don't care about the y's, look, x is already by itself. I get x equals minus 8 minus 4y. And that's it for 27. Alright, number 28, I have 2x equals 3y plus 9. Remember, I care about the y. It doesn't matter, x has already moved over for me. I just have to get rid of the 9. It doesn't matter that x and y are on opposite sides. So I get 2x minus 9, because I only care about the y, equals 3y. Now I have to divide everything by 3. So I get y, I just write it first, you don't have to write it first, equals 2/3 x, minus 9 over 3 is minus 3. There you go. Now x is even easier. X is already almost by itself, there's just that 2 in the way. So I just divide everything by 2. So I end up with x equals 3/2 y plus 9/2. And I'm done. That simple. Alright, so for 29, I want to make it look like some of the other problems I've done. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to minus 12 from both sides. And then it becomes 5x minus 6y equals negative 12. Now it looks like something I've done before. So when I solve for y, I only care about the y, so I move the 5x over. I get minus 6y equals minus 12 minus 5x. I divide everything by negative 6. Now notice I'm dividing everything by negative 6. So I get y equals, negative over negative is positive 2. Negative 5 over negative 6, so it's plus 5, 6x. That's it for y. Now for x, same concept. I don't care about I care about x, so I get rid of the y first. So I add 6y to both sides. I get 5x equals negative 12 plus 6y. Divide everything by 5. I get x equals negative 12 fifths plus 6 fifths y. And that's it. Alright, so I have 6x minus 5y minus 45 equals 0. To make it look like something we've done before, I just add 44 to both sides to start. So I make that my new problem. Since I care about y, I subtract 6x from both sides. I get minus 5y equals 44 minus 6x. Divide everything by negative 5. I get y equals negative 44 over 5 plus 6 fifths x. I care about x, so I add 5y to both sides. I get 6x equals 44 plus 5y. Divide everything by 6. I get x equals 44 over 6 is 22 thirds plus 5 6y. I know that's Rush, I'm sorry.